So we're going to start with the side arm series with the springs, and those come down to the level of the elbow because of the fact that that's where you want the pull to be. And these are where Cindy is going to stand in the middle of the mat facing me. The first series is going to go where the hand is on the outside. The elbow's in the middle of the shoulder joint. So if you were to look from the middle of the humerus through the elbow, they're lined up, and the elbow's slightly off the rib cage. And the reason is, if you press that elbow into, and go ahead and do that, press it in, you can feel the humeral head kind of shift out of position. Whereas if it floats off, and if I were just standing in place, my arms would naturally not be touching my rib cage. So therefore, the humeral position is in a more neutral position, palms facing in, and if you also check your client's olecranon process at their elbow, that should be facing straight back. So from here, you're gonna find neutral everything again, chest is open, and she's just gonna press out, and then she's just gonna bring the hand back in. So this is external rotation of the humerus, and she's keeping that elbow or that forearm at the same level, parallel to the floor or parallel to the ceiling. Either way you wanna look at it. And she's keeping the ribs equidistant from the hips, so there's no shifting, there's no side bending. She's feeling that sense of float from being grounded in the floor through her feet, up through her hips, and the ribs nicely wide, head back, and the chest is open. One more there, and she's just gonna reach it out. From here, she's gonna step out a little bit from there. She's gonna let the hand come across her hip here to the opposite hip. And now she's gonna, again, reset all of her joints. The shoulders are gonna be wide. And what we're looking for here is that she thinks through her elbow and she pushes out, and it's like doing a nudge. Good, and then keep those eyes looking straight forward. Keep that shoulder back just a little bit there, and then bring that hand down. And so it's an easy reach out. So in this exercise, this is abduction, gently bring it down. And so she's working the supraspinatus in the rotator cuff, because the first exercise where she was doing external rotation was working the infraspinatus and the teres minor to create external rotation. So now she's working more of the supraspinatus in the rotator cuff and slightly part of the deltoid. So this can help kind of set that initial setting phase of abduction of the arm. One more there, and then she brings it down. From there, she steps out a little bit more and switches the handle over to the inside hand and go even a little bit more over. Good. So this is going to work internal rotation. So she's going to again find neutral everything. She's just going to track the hand slightly across and in, and then she's going to take it out. So again, if you were to see her elbow from this angle, it is again off the rib cage. She's feeling nice and wide through the scapula and through the collarbone or the clavicle at the same time. And the elbow is staying right underneath this middle of the shoulder there. Good. Just two more. Pull it across. And one more. And pull it across. Good. From there, pull it across. And from there, she's going to think through her elbow again. She's just going to let that elbow reach out to the side a little bit. So just lift that elbow up, just like you did on the other side, and then pull it down. Good. Eyes looking straight forward. So here she's working on adduction because the spring tension is coming from the wall in and making her pull in. So here she's working her pectoralis major and her latissimus dorsi. So again, and keeping the collarbones nice and open, keep the hand a little closer to the belly. So whether you're doing the supraspinatus and the deltoid push out or the pull in, the adduction focus, you still want to think of that belly, the hand just lightly grazing the belly so you're not getting any odd rotations through the humerus. One more time there. Exhale, blow it out. Good. And then take it out and turn around and do the other side. And I'm going to teach her a couple of variations. So I'm just going to come over to this side to visually cue her. So start here, come in a little closer. So the other thing with doing this work, elbow slightly off, shoulders wide, and press out from there, is that you don't want to go too far away from the springboard because the rotator cuff muscles are very small and get stimulated again by lighter tensions, kind of like the middle and the lower traps and the upper traps. So just working on a light spring tension allows the rotator cuff muscles to learn how to do their jobs. If you push out too far and make the tension too high, then what happens is you'll default to bigger muscles that can also internally, externally rotate the humerus. So one of the variations that she could do here is as she presses out, she could add in rotation, a slight rotation of the upper middle back, and then come back to the center. So you want to hold that pelvis still and rotate, keep the elbows lightly off, nice. So here we're working her contralateral obliques in order to get the rotation through the spine. She's also having to stabilize her hips here. So as she rotates, there may be a little bit of movement of the hips, but I'm not going to tell her that because the clients will take liberty. So one more time there, easy, reach it out and rotate and then come back in. Good, from there, move out just a little bit and then nudge it out. So again, your eyes are looking straight forward. You're keeping that nice connection of your ribs to your hips and the hips pulling up front. Rotate the right hip back just a little. Perfect, so that puts you in your neutral. So push out through the elbow. So it's elbow out and elbow in. Like I said, I think of this as a nudge, like I'm at a dinner party with my significant other and they just said the most inappropriate thing and we're sitting at the table. I'm like, boom, don't say that. One more time, good. And then switch to the other hand, step out a little bit more, good. And then just do that internal rotation. Now she can do the same thing here. As she internally rotates, she could rotate out. And then as she rotates back to the center, good. And exhale and gently rotate. And again, this is teaching that kind of compilation movement of the shoulder with the rest of the body. And this is actually really nice for shoulder rehab. Anytime that you can incorporate internal, external rotation and rotation of the torso, it's actually a very functional movement pattern that we do every day without really realizing it. Just one more there. Nice, and come back to the center, step out just a little bit more, elbow goes out to the side, hand comes in close to the belly, and you just graze the belly to do that adduction. Keep the collarbone and the shoulder blade nice and wide, and pull it across. 2, good. So this one I call it like the yeehaw, like my country move, ding, 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 ding. One more time, exhale, and easy reach there. Good. And since I have her here on the side, I just want you to take your hands out in front of you, make an imaginary circle there, and you're going to keep the pelvis as still as possible, and now you're just going to rotate out away from the springboard and then come back to the center. And I'm just going to place my hands here and just gently rotate that rib cage. And again, working those contralateral obliques. And this is a functional movement pattern. She's keeping that nice wide centered collarbone. One more time there. Exhale, blow it out and rotate. Good, turn to the other side. Okay. So switching to the other side, if you had that client, so go ahead and make that circle with your hands, and you can just stack one hand on top of the other. If you had that client, or clients if I were teaching this in a group class, and I told them to rotate the rib cage, and instead they were just pulling their hands out, so just do the hand pull versus the rotation. So they were doing this, and then coming back to the center. One of the ways to stop that is to add in the fitness circle. So what you do is you take the fitness circle, and nope, you can't do it that way. So you just hold the handle, and then you put the fitness circle so it's at the base of the breastbone, and then the hands stack on there. You do a slight press into the circle to widen the collarbones. Keep those hips a little bit more stable. Good. And then rotate as you exhale and come back to the center. I'm just going to come around to the back so I can cue her hips a little better, and then rotate that rib cage. So keep your hips still on my hands. Nice job. Keep that sense of lift through the back side of your body, but be careful not to deviate the rib cage forward. Now rotate on that exhale. One more time there, and blow it out. So this keeps that hand pulling versus that sense of rotating the rib cage. Good.